What if I told you the apocalypse wouldn't start with a giant asteroid, but with magic trick? If the moon vanished this exact second, no boom, just gone, you wouldn't just lose your tides, you'd lose your life. This isn't a sci-fi movie, it's a countdown to Earth's ultimate system failure, hour by agonizing hour. Minute 1, a total suffocating blackout. Without lunar reflection, an unsettling primal darkness instantly swallows the globe, sparking worldwide panic. But the real catastrophe isn't in the sky, it's in the water. Gravity just snapped. Instantly, the world's oceans go terrifyingly flat. The moon's 75% of our tidal force. Without it, that invisible hand dragging trillions of gallons of water simply lets go. The sun's weak gravity is all that remains, creating a pathetic ripple. Bays drain completely in minutes, slamming massive cargo ships into the mud. We aren't just talking about stranded boats. We are witnessing an instant mass extinction on every single coastline. Coral reefs, sea turtles, and billions of crustaceans absolutely depend on the rhythmic rising and falling tides to hunt, flush out toxic waste, and breed. When that rhythm dies, the shores become rotting graveyards before the sun even rises. This coastal massacre is shocking, but it's just a localized warning. The true existential threat is brewing deeper down, where the planet is about to suffer a fatal cardiac arrest. Think of tides as Earth's physical heartbeat. They constantly churn the oceans, furiously mixing freezing, nutrient-dense water from the abyss with the warm, sunlit surface. Cut the moon, and you flatline that heartbeat immediately. Without this essential vertical churning, colossal global weather engines like the Gulf Stream slam on the brakes and collapse entirely. The ocean turns into a stagnant, lifeless bathtub. This isn't a slow, gradual decline. It's an immediate biological crash. Life-sustaining nutrients are no longer pushed upward. The immediate result? Phytoplankton, the microscopic plants producing half the oxygen in your lungs right now, starve and die in unimaginable numbers. They are the absolute bedrock of the marine web food. Once they vanish, the entire oceanic supply chain shatters within mere weeks. Tiny krill, apex predators, and colossal blue whales all share the exact same fate: inevitable mass starvation. An environment covering 71% of our world morphs into a toxic, suffocating wasteland almost overnight. And Earth won't let the oceans die alone. This stagnation triggers a terrifying domino effect, ready to rip our climate apart. The death of the ocean currents triggers an atmospheric apocalypse. Right now, our oceans act as a global thermostat, constantly pumping equatorial heat toward the freezing poles. Without the moon to drive this thermal conveyor belt, that system shatters. The equator rapidly transforms into an unlivable boiling pressure cooker, while the poles plunge into deep, inescapable freezes. This violent clash of temperature extremes doesn't just change the weather, it weaponizes it. The massive thermal gradients birth monstrous storm systems, hypercanes, dwarfing any Category 5 hurricane in recorded history. Imagine colossal storms with winds tearing across continents at over 200 miles per hour, shredding entire cities to their foundations. Meanwhile, the global trade winds, which have dictated rainfall for millennia, wildly shift course. Once fertile agricultural heartlands instantly dry up into cracked, barren deserts, while historically arid wastelands are drowned under relentless apocalyptic flooding. You might survive the initial coastal wipeout, but you cannot escape a sky that is actively trying to kill you. And incredibly, the weather is just the opening act for a much larger planetary meltdown. While the surface tears itself apart, the planet itself begins to physically wobble. For 4.5 billion years, the moon's gravitational grip has acted as a massive anchor, holding Earth's axial tilt perfectly stable at 23.5 degrees. That precise angle is the only reason we have predictable seasons. Sever that invisible tether, and Earth becomes a violently spinning top, losing its momentum. Just like Mars, which has no large moon to stabilize it, our planet's axis would wildly swing anywhere from 0 to a terrifying 85 degrees. This shift wouldn't take millions of years. It would completely rewrite geography. At a severe tilt, Antarctica would point directly at the blistering sun. Its colossal ice sheets would melt at unprecedented speeds, raising global sea levels by hundreds of feet and swallowing every major coastal metropolis on Earth. Conversely, if the tilt swings the other way, the equator, home to billions, could be plunged into a brutal, sudden ice age, buried under miles of glacial ice. There would be no safe zone. The ground beneath your feet would literally dictate a terrifying new reality of fire, flood, or frost. With the climate pulverized and the planet's tilt in chaos, the 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, are erased from existence. It isn't just an inconvenience for your wardrobe, it is the death of agriculture. Crops that humanity has cultivated for millennia depend entirely on predictable weather cycles. Without them, fields freeze overnight or burn to crisp ash within days. Farming becomes a mathematical impossibility. The intricate global food supply chains, already strained by catastrophic storms, instantly snap. Supermarket shelves empty out in a matter of hours, and they never restock. Billions of people are abruptly forced into becoming desperate climate refugees, fleeing unlivable extreme zones, only to find starvation waiting for them. It wouldn't take decades for society to collapse. Within mere months, mass famine triggers unparalleled global warfare over the last remaining scraps of arable land and clean water. Money loses all meaning. The modern civilization we built on a foundation of lunar stability crumbles into primitive savagery. Yet for those few who manage to endure this apocalyptic gauntlet, a profoundly different and alien Earth awaits in the dark. But what happens to the few who survive the initial collapse? Welcome to the terrifying new evolutionary world order. With the night suddenly plunged into absolute pitch-black darkness, nocturnal apex predators, from stealthy leopards to silent owls, are immediately blinded and driven to swift extinction. Evolution hits a violent, unforgiving reset button. For humanity, the surface of the Earth is officially reclassified as an unlivable death zone. Forget your morning commute, outdoor sports, or feeling the sun on your face. To survive the lethal, unpredictable extremes of boiling superstorms and flash-frozen nights, we are forced to abandon our crumbling cities and dig deep underground. Our new daily reality means living inside massive, pressurized, subterranean biodomes, relying entirely on artificial UV light and geothermal power to cultivate synthetic crops. The open air becomes a toxic memory. Yet inside this grim, claustrophobic existence, there is one hauntingly beautiful silver lining. Without the moon's relentless light pollution, the atmosphere clears. The night sky transforms into a breathtaking, uninterrupted window into the deep cosmos. You wouldn't just see scattered stars. The majestic, glowing core of the Milky Way galaxy would visibly dominate the heavens every single night. The moon isn't just a dead rock. It is the silent, gravitational guardian holding our fragile reality together. Without it, humanity is nothing but a fleeting, frozen memory. If this cosmic countdown blew your mind, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to explore more terrifying universal truths right here on Star Life.